have large mature trees. Don't just bulldoze
And
them.
some of these trees are hundreds of years old. Yeah.
So you have lovely mahoganies, you have cassias, you have flamboyant, okay? And what is nice about the whole thing is not crowded.
Yeah.
Okay, you have the open spaces, you can entertain with leisure without any problems, okay?
Jeff, actually, one of the things the owner confided in me is that when it's hurricane season, he bothers more about his trees than his house.
Yes, I would agree with him in some aspects, you know, that when the trees go, the property is basically worth very little.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Jeff, he's used indigenous trees to some extent too. And what are the advantages of using an indigenous tree as opposed to some that were introduced to the island?
Well, indigenous trees would be more adapted to the environment itself to start with. We have shallow soils, we have limestone, which is alkaline, okay? We have basically low rainfall. The rainfall here probably is around about 60 or so inches a year. But you can get periods of very dry weather conditions, and that's critical. If we can't get more than an inch of rain for at least 4 months of the year, you then have some serious effects. And you need trees that are normally, you know, adapted to that environment that will survive. We have things like the palmyras or the frangipani, right? And they tend to be more or less drought resistant, and they can survive these harsh
There's a
conditions.
flamboyant as well, which added to its architectural beauty. Its flowers profusely at this time of the year.
Yeah. Incorporated also among the trees are among the ornamental trees are fruit trees. So you have things like bright fruit, and there are a fair amount of mangoes. And more we are coming to realize that mango is a very nice tree in terms of hurricane resistant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what makes the mango so hurricane resistant?
Basically, it's architecture, its root system. It's not just merely a simple taproot. You know, it actually exploits the soil very well. So it's pretty sturdy. They've been good evidence that's shown that after hurricanes, it's one of the fruit trees that usually remains standing.
Jeff, what I really like about what he's done here is that it is not in isolation, it's continuous. We walk from the gully, we walk into an entertainment area, we also see some art. I think that was very beautifully done in this property.
I think the whole landscaping aspect of moving from what I normally say a formal area into a more natural area, the gully, is very beautiful.
And you can imagine a barbecue on this lovely deck. I mean, you can ask for more.
No, on these sort of settings, beautiful summer's day, even a moonlight night, it's perfect.
And great for entertaining.
Great.
Jeff, as we said earlier, this deck is truly an entertainment paradise. You overlook the gully, the beautiful tranquility, and you also have the practicality of having your own barbecue grill and setting up your own entertainment area.
Yeah, pity there's nothing on it for us now.
Exactly. Well, we've come to the end of another Green Fingers program. I certainly enjoyed doing this. I certainly got a lot of ideas. You too, Jeff?
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Lots of plants in a different environment, and you see how they react, and that's nice.
It shows me that how you can creatively use your space by creating different rooms and different entertainment areas. I think that aspect is commendable.
And even with the deck setting, we can see how the boulder wall not only has been used to shore up the soil around, but also create the ambience of a nice enclave. So, you know.
Well, Jeff, we've come to the end of another Green Fingers program. I certainly enjoyed this one.
I too, and I'm seeing a lot of new stuff, new environment, and we can definitely have for next time, you know, some new features to talk about.
Yeah. Well, if you want to see some more interesting gardens, interesting garden features, interesting ideas, join us next week when we present another edition of Green Fingers. Be sure to write us or email us. You can write us at CBC, The Pines, St. Michael. We'll see you next week. Join us then. seem to be very happy here as well, too, Jeff.
Yes, yes. We have a number of Cocotrinax, Dutch palms. Okay.
We also have the Christmas palm.
And I guess some bamboos as well would do well here.
Jeff, you could imagine this being in Florida, this orchid feature right here. This is great. And what type of orchids are these?
They're Vandaceous orchids.
Yeah.
And again, this is another novel way of propagating orchids. Just using a wire mesh. The root system basically hang their epiphytes. Okay?
When we come back, Jeff will tell us what are epiphytes.
They hang from trees, vines, so forth. The root system basically absorbs moisture from the atmosphere, as well as nutrients from any of the decaying material on the tree. Okay? You have plants also that are terrestrial and normally will grow underground themselves. Okay? Orchids and terns would be termed epiphytes. Here, as I told you, the root systems are designed that they can absorb moisture very quickly. Because under their conditions, they need to do that. You get a shower of rain or some moisture in the atmosphere, they're able to.
In a gully setting, that's very important.
That's right.
Moisture doesn't always come.
Right. And as I was saying before, once you see nice green root tips, you know your plants are growing well. Okay? So this is what you want for any good growth of orchids. And that's why you can hang them on here, right? And they will just grow like that. All the moisture from the environment.
With some fertilization, I think.
Yes, you will need, in this case, you will need to add some fertilizer. Okay. Also here we have the rice fern, which is a nice plant for this type of setting. And the rice fern is not really a fern. As we saw, it has fruit. Ferns have spores. Okay? The only problem with this plant is that it attracts slugs and snails. And that's another thing we haven't seen a lot in this valley. Among these is the Joseph Coleus.
And it's a leaf tree on the leaf trees.
Yes. Under this environment, those trees will grow. But again, I'm still amazed at some of the stuff that is in color, you know, on the shade. No, the environment here is ideal for growing this stuff.
Jeff, we've seen where you've had water conservative features here in the garden, where he's actually had how the use of the rocks. There's also a sanctuary and a recreational aspect as well. Yes. I'm impressed.
Yes. Again, the arbor, Japanese in feature, is one aspect of the design in the garden, and it has a lovely jade vine beginning to trellis its way around.
And you've used the bamboo.
Yes,
very
bamboo
creatively.
Is a way of getting it onto the trellis.
Yeah.
Normally we'll have it planted close to the pole, but that area is hard, so you look for a nice area. Hence the jade vine is not one of the easiest plants to get going.
Jeff, you know, the bamboos, that's one of my favorite plants. I think it's so versatile in the landscape setting. Well, he's also incorporated a bridge of all things, and also some lighting.
Yes, the bridge is one of my favorite features of this landscape area.
Certainly connects the garden very creatively.
Yeah. And it's more like connecting the more organized area to the wild aspects of the gully.
Jeff, you know, he actually said he only works on this sometimes on weekends, and he's actually developed a lot of this himself.
Yes, again, this is like a personal project.
Yeah.
So you use your off time, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
Get away from the office. You
Get away from the house.
Get away from the house. and here you can do it bit by bit.
Yeah.
You don't have
no
any-
hurry. You
no
know.
hurry.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't necessarily have a big plan, landscape plan. It's all in your head.
And you
what
add as you go along, you
add as
change as you go along.
Yeah.
I think that's...
And that's one of the things he's going to find also in the future, that some plants are not going to grow well some places. You're going to have to move them around,
Yeah.
you know, and things like that. But eventually it's going to be a very nice project.
Great stress reliever, I think.
One of the aspects that we included, and we can go up the stairs. Yes, one of the other features that he's included is basically incorporate what we'll call old tree material. And he's using this old tree stem to grow orchids on. And again, this is a nice feature. Okay, you see some of the orchids already.
And he's used the coconut fiber as well.
Yeah, natural material. And the whole idea is to get it all blended in, and then it would actually take over the whole log. Okay, totally covered.
Actually, the gully setting is really ideal environment for the orchids as well.
Yes, it is. And he has also included some gardening features in terms of pottery and stuff like that.
You want to guess what this was created from, Jeff? These were twigs from some of the old vines.
Yes.
He's actually turned into a container garden. Yeah.
And he's using it looks like a impatient.
Yep.
Yeah, in flowers. Nice.
Well, we've been walking for some time now. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll share some more interesting features of this unique aspect of gully landscaping.